There's also a possibility we may have like our dog Harold walking by, or if you hear a baby in the background, that's Mac. Mac is back there. So there might be a few like little additions to our workout per se today. So like I said, sun salutations is where we're gonna start out with today. More of a recovery type of workout. We're gonna do mobility work, a little bit of yoga into there, do a little leg strength, but mostly this is like air quality is not so good. Let's kind of just keep our pace at a more of a moderate pace today. So with me, let's go ahead and get into a position where our feet are about shoulder width apart. We're gonna do a couple sun salutations. So I want you to bring your eyes up, your hands up, and then bring them down, arms wide. We're gonna lower the hands towards the feet, and we're gonna move the hips a little side to side. And so, like I was mentioning earlier, we've got 5 reps that are gonna be our numbers consistently through our movements. Inhale, kind of round through your spine, come up nice and tall here. And then let's bring those arms up, eyes up, reaching back with the hands a little bit before we fold and start to breathe out, lowering down to the floor. Do a little hip movement side to side a few times. Feel them opening up, and then once again, roll through the spine slowly. Tighten your core, bring your chin up, straighten your back, eyes go up, hands go up, and then exhale, fold it back down. Okay, a little hip side to side movement. And we got 2 more of these. Give me that nice slow rolling up. Now straighten up and reach up. As we exhale, slowly bring it back down. I'm gonna even push my hips backwards a little bit as I'm coming down. Open up those hamstrings a little extra. Hips move side to side a few times. And our final one, inhale, bring yourself up, all the way tall, eyes up, hands up. And then this time as we exhale, we're just gonna bring the hands together in front of you. Okay, so that's the first of our 5 standing exercises here as we get started. Second one, we're gonna take a real wide stance with the feet, and we're gonna begin by just sitting back and down to one side and pressing up and getting tall. Side angle, once again, we sit the hips behind you, your inside leg stays straight, and you come back up. Then you switch to the opposite side, make sure we're getting both the heels working. And if you feel comfortable with depth, practice going a little lower, and see if you can feel a stretch on that opposite leg more as your depth increases. Okay, so 5 on each side. We're gonna breathe in, coming down. We're gonna breathe out, coming up. Inhale, bring it down. Exhale, bring it up. And let's go 1 more on each. And do your best to just kind of keep the pace that I'm going with today, moderate pace throughout the workout. All right, next up from here, single leg deadlift. So we're practicing some balance. We're gonna see if you can grab that foot. If not, just start by coming here, single leg deadlift position. Now, if you feel good, you might try to grab that foot and extend behind you, and then come up nice and tall. So you could keep it at just the basic single leg deadlift, or you can add in to grabbing that foot behind you with the same side arm, same side hand. Whoop. And just like me, you'll get to practice some good balance early on here. All right, so switch it up. Practice lowering down, hinging at the hips. Then if you can, maybe you grab that foot, kick that foot into the hand, come up tall. Okay. Hinge forward, opposite leg. Maybe grabbing that foot from there, pressing into the hand, coming back up. Inhale, bring it down. Tighten the belly and focus the eyes. Come on back up, switch it up. And we got 2 more on each side right here. So it should be taking us about 3-4 seconds to work our way through each of these reps. All right, we got our final 2 here, final 2. Awesome, last one, breath in as we go down, and breath out and we come tall. Let's do a little rotation from here. So, very similar to our warm-ups that we do with our pole or our towel, I'm gonna have you rotate to one side and open that back arm, eyes follow that hand, and then come back down to center and do a little switch of the arms. So I'm gonna have one hand touching against my shoulder, and that other arm is really reaching out behind me and up into the air at about a 45-degree angle upward into the sky behind me and bringing it back in. Per always, I like to do that pivot, so my opposite heel is gonna lift as I rotate, and that's gonna open my rotation a little extra. All right, we've got 2 more on each side. Let's find a big breath in right here. Open, breathe in. Nice exhale, smooth rotation over, big inhale again. Exhale, bring it in, and final 2 here. All right, and final 1. Okay, the last of our standing warm-up beginning movements is gonna be a wide squat. So let's take our feet wider than the shoulders here, and then we're gonna have some arm reaches at the bottom. So first thing I wanna do is just make sure my feet are wider than my shoulders. Now I'm gonna sit down into it, and I'm gonna try to hold here. Now you could be up a little higher. If you can sit lower, I'm okay with that too, that's great. You're gonna put your left hand to the floor, you're gonna reach up and look at your right hand, and now bring that right hand down and do a little switch over. All right, so working into a depth that you can hold for a little bit. And if you do feel like you're losing it, feel free to stand for a moment before you come back down and join. Okay, as we lift that arm open, we're gonna breathe in. And then we're gonna exhale and bring that hand back to the floor. We're also gonna feel those heels in touch with the floor, and hopefully some good balance being practiced as well. Last one right here. Breathe in, reach that arm up. Exhale, bring it down, and go ahead and stand up through those heels, nice and tall. You shake it out, everybody. That is the first round of our movements. Let's do it again. So, we're gonna start with our sun salutation. Feet about shoulder width apart. We're gonna bring the eyes up, bring the hands up, even pull the hands backwards a little bit. And now we're gonna fold it down. We're gonna breathe out as we go down. We're gonna bring those hands towards the feet and move the hips a little side to side at the bottom. Let's say 2 hip swings to each side of the bottom, and now we're ready to raise again. Rolling through that spine, bring the chin up, eyes up, hands up. And then as we exhale, those arms wide, hips sitting back, so pushing your hips back, make that stretch bigger. And now give me a little side to side with 4 total movements. Once those 4 are done, round it up. Inhale, all the way tall, reaching up. As we exhale, arms wide, bringing it down. Little hip movement side to side. So this has very yoga-esque transitions through it. Let's go ahead and inhale, bring ourselves up, reach up. We've got last 2. So I want you to think about how there's a flow taking place with your movements. You come down, you breathe out, and we do those 4 hip swings. All right, so find a good groove. Feel that your body's kind of finding that pattern. Inhale, bring it up. Reaching up for that last time. This time, bring the hands together in front of the heart, in front of the chest. Very nicely done. Second of our movements, our feet turn real wide. So much, much wider than the shoulders. And remember, one leg is gonna stay straight as we sit back, and our heel is gonna push us up to come back up. Go ahead and practice with me if you haven't already. It's 5 reps on each side or 10 reps total. Once again, few seconds for each of our movements. Maybe 3 to 5 seconds kind of sits into that sweet spot for each lateral lunge here. Good. You'll notice my hands, I like to keep them kind of right into the center of the body. And I also want to make sure that the top half of my body is not leaning out as I go down, but staying more centered as I come down between the legs. Drive up, and our last one, inhale, bringing it down. Exhale, standing tall. Now let's get into the balance work. So single leg deadlift, potentially grabbing that foot behind you. Feet should be together. Let's find that hinge first here. Now let's create a little bit of a grab reach if possible, and release, coming tall. Inhale, fold it, grab that foot, hinge it, and up. Awesome. So hopefully the second time around, you're noticing that your balance has a little bit of improvement going on. And know that's the case for me. I was basically toppling over in our first opportunity here. Get halfway there. Fold into it. Maybe kick the hand into that foot. Last two on each side. Breathing in, hinging forward. Breathing out, standing tall. Okay, and last two here. I sure hope you guys can hear the cicadas in the background. If you don't know what a cicada is, it's an insect that makes kind of like a chirpy grasshoppery sound. They're everywhere back here right now. One of my favorite things to hear in life. Okay, after that, let's do some rotation. So we're gonna pretend like we've got that either towel or pole in front of us. We're gonna rotate over, bring one hand real far back, eyes on it, and then switch it over. As you reach back, I want you to breathe in deep. Exhale, bring it back forward. Breathe in deep and open. Exhale, inhale. Opposite heel is picking up. Getting you that full turn. All right, last two. Nice big inhale. Open, open, open. Fingertips wide. Bring it in. Last one. Awesome. Okay, the final of this set is our low squat with some reaching. Let's take our feet wider than those shoulders. I'm gonna give you guys a little side angle for this one, or even a corner angle. Let's work our way into the down point that we can hold. That could be here, or all the way down. Let's start with both hands to the floor, and now reaching that right hand up first, coming back down underneath, and reaching to the next. Okay, so each time we do about a 1 second hold at the top before we release. As we reach up, breathe in. Exhale down. All right, we've got one more on each side here. Last two. Breathe in. Breathing out. One more. Inhale, reach. Exhale down. And from here, I want you to just bring your hands to the floor, bring your knees to the floor. Take yourself a small breather, quick opportunity to hydrate and get yourself a little water. And we're gonna stay on the floor and do a little ground routine up next. There's a very strong likelihood that I'm gonna get some sun changes on my end, and you guys have probably already seen that. So, hopefully you can see things smoothly. We're gonna start on our back, and we're gonna do a little variation of some hip stretches, some hamstring stretches. So what I want you to do first is bring your right leg up, hug it in, just like we practice doing at the end of our sessions. And then, just like we do, I want you to bring that leg across to the left side. And now I want you to release that leg back down to the floor. So we're gonna take that combo that we often do as our stretch at the end. We're gonna hug that leg in straight up first. Then we're gonna bring it across, get a little hip stretch, and we're gonna release that leg back down. So we're just doing shorter holds on this, but it's getting us to mobilize that hip hamstring complex area a little bit more. I don't know about you guys, but this tends to be an area that definitely sits fairly tight on me. So it's a good opportunity to get some stretching. If we can think about your core, lifting that leg, controlling and lowering that leg as well, now we can wake up more muscles into what we're doing. All right, let's get the recruitment of the core as a part of this stretch. A little across, gently back down. We're gonna do 2 more sets. Right leg in, over to the left side, slow release, abs controlling that release. Slowly down, we got one more, last 2 here. Straight up, a little bit over, release down. Our final one. All right, now from here, we're gonna have similar movement patterns. We're gonna bring the legs in and out. So I want you to think about your core dynamics again. However, this time, I'm gonna hug one knee in and pull it to the outside of the hip. So I'm getting a little inner thigh stretch through there, right? And then I'm gonna release that leg down. As the other switches in, I pull the knee to the outside of that hip, creating that inner thigh stretch. And now I do that shifting of the legs. Okay, hands really kind of wrap around the knee, pull it in, hold it for a few seconds, smooth release. And we're thinking about those core muscles, keeping the legs up the whole time, right? So that's a little extra core challenge. And allowing a smooth transition from each of these holds. Lastly, like I teach you so often, if you can think about your low back, you can activate that, push it down into the floor a little bit extra. You're gonna be safer and more effective with this opportunity. All right, let's finish out one more on each side. Pull that knee out, feel that inner thigh stretch. Little smooth switch for that final one. All right. From here, we're gonna turn on the side. I'm gonna face you guys. If you wanna face me, please, by all means, do so. We're gonna get into a side lying position. My bottom arm's gonna be straight out in front. Top arm is gonna go overhead. We're gonna start with our basic crunch. And with your head, think about my spine wants to be in a straight line through this, right? So by maintaining that and not getting too high up, we're gonna minimize neck tension. So arm up and overhead. I've got my visual point that I'm just consistently gonna look at, so that's gonna keep my head where I want it to be. Then we're just gonna do a little bit of a top arm, top leg crunch as our beginning side warm up. Awesome. So as we pull elbow to knee, we're gonna breathe out. And as we inhale, we're reaching away from that center body. We're gonna do one more here, make it our 5 reps. All right, after this little fun combo, we're gonna reach behind us and grab that foot. So I'm creating a quad stretch with this. And then I'm gonna release the leg and I'm gonna go up to the side, come back down smoothly, bring the foot back, reach for it, hold that stretch for a few seconds, release, legs side by side, top leg lifts. Okay, then once again, we're taking our time. We've got multiple seconds of a hold for our stretch here. We're gonna release that foot down. We're gonna smoothly lift. High as you feel comfortable, smoothly lower, and bring that heel back into the hand. All right, so this stretch is designed to get the front of the leg to open up, our quad here, typically very tight muscle. Feel that. Maybe you can even squeeze your butt behind you a little bit to open that stretch extra. And there's our final one. All right, nicely done. Let's go ahead and just turn and switch. Opposite side through here. I'm gonna still face you guys. We're gonna have that bottom arm reaching out in front of us. Top arm's gonna go up and overhead, and I'm gonna find that visual point with my eyes where I feel like my spine is straight. So I'm gonna try to minimize working how much I lift my head. I'm human just like you guys. I deal with the same issues. I kind of forget that at times. But if we can have that reminder as to where our eyes want to focus, that can really help our posture and alignment through the motion. Okay, we're gonna breathe out, elbow to knee. Breathe in, nice extension away from the body. Breathe out, elbow to knee. Breathe in. Last one. All right, from here, bring the foot behind you, sweep that top arm behind you, and get into a little quad stretch. Now release, leg stacks on the other, we lift straight up, and we control back down. We go ahead and kick that foot back into the hand, find that stretch for a few good seconds. Now we release that leg, and we lift straight up. Right, visual point, where are you looking at? We're keeping that spine where we want it. We're making things smooth. All right, we've got last one coming up here. Once again, quad stretch, feel it, find it, maybe squeeze your butt. Release, lift, and gently back down. All right, folks, so quick opportunity for water. We're gonna hit repeat on what we just did. We're gonna start on our back and we're gonna do those hamstring stretches and those hip stretches. All right, so let's get to a point, comfortable on our back. We're gonna have our legs out. We're gonna bring that right leg up, hands behind it. Bring that right leg a little over to the left side, and now release it, nice and slow. Let's find those ab muscles. Left leg, lift it. Pull it across. And a smooth release. Straight on up, inhale. Over and down with the exhale. Little added challenge is to consider your low back now. Is your low back kind of pressing downward, or at least is it active in trying to press downward? Let's move down. We're going to go one more on each side here. Find those abs. And last one. Okay, next up, we're still bringing one leg in, but now we're gonna wrap hands around the knee, pull the knee to the outside. Okay, find that stretch, hold it for a few seconds, and then smoothly transition the legs. Now we're gonna try to keep even that straight leg off the floor. Okay, so that's gonna add some resistance to this. Smooth stretching with about a 3 to 5 second hold. Each stretch. Considering those low back muscles along the way. Activity there keeps us safe, keeps us stronger. Last two, folks, last two. And last one. All right, I'm gonna shift my body to the side. I'm gonna face you guys. I'm gonna have my bottom arm reaching out in front. I'm gonna have my top arm reaching up and overhead. And then once again, I'm gonna kind of find that focus point with my eyes in front where I feel like I'm maintaining that better straight line through the body. So I'm here. Now I'm just gonna bend elbow and top leg. Not a killer movement, but we're still gonna think about these obliques right here. I want you to breathe out and give me a nice crunch. We're gonna breathe in and really reach, open and stretch. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. One more. And extension. Love it. Next up, slide that arm behind you. See if you can reach that foot behind you. Give me that little quad stretch. Now release. Leg stack, top leg lifts. Slow release coming back down. Hand to foot behind you. Right, nice smooth lift. Now as that leg lifts, find your glute really in control here. An opportunity to get that outside hip, a little bit of strength work, a little bit of challenge. This is our final one here. Good lift. Steady lowering. Nicely done. Let's turn it. Let's switch it. Same thing on our opposite side. Gonna kick those feet out. Gonna have that bottom arm reaching in front, lying down. And I find that focus point with my eyes. Make sure that I'm where I want to be. Trying my best to not get too much tension into the neck is really a key as to what I always teach you guys here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. And go two more. Nice big reach. Exhale, crunch. Last one. Find those obliques up top. Squeeze them together here. And extend back out. Now that arm sliding behind you, grabbing the foot, little quad stretch, few seconds of hold. Now we release and we lift that top leg. Okay, so once again, hip, butt, get that working with that single leg lift. Okay, I'm gonna feel it here. As that muscle lifts, and now it really controls fighting gravity coming down. Nicely done. One more here, a little extra hold. Now release, and straight up, and back down. All right, folks, we're working our way through our sequences through here. You get a small water opportunity. Then we're gonna get into a little additional hip work from our seated position. And of course, we'll continue on with some of this core work here. So let's start in a seated position. I'll be facing you here. I'm gonna have my feet a little bit wide, and we're gonna work on our knees going side to side. And we're very quickly gonna turn this into a bigger motion. So let's just start things out here with both knees kind of dropping and enough space between the legs so that the knees have an opportunity to not run into each other leg. Okay, so this is our hip opener at first. Now our addition is going to be bringing a hip press and an arm reach. So my knees are going to stay in touch with the floor. I'm going to go onto my back hand and push my hips up into the air, and then I'm going to reach that free arm overhead. I'm going to come back down. I'm going to shift the knees, shift the hips, press the knees into there, reach up and overhead, and come back down. Okay, so take your time, right? Knees tap to the floor, create some lift, reach. Bring it down, smooth transition on over. Right. Now, as we reach overhead, I want you to breathe in. Now we're going to exhale, bring it down. Reach overhead, breathe in. Bring it down. Got 2 more to go here, folks. Down, and our final one. Right, very good. Next up, we're shifting onto our back. We're going to be doing some single leg hip press or single leg drops, but our pure emphasis is on what the low back is doing. So, tabletop position, I got my feet flexed, right? I got my knees above my hips, and I'm actively pushing those low back muscles down, right? Now, with my hands, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have them hovering and doing a very small up and down movement. And as those arms are coming up and down, I'm feeling those lat muscles right here, pulling the arms down and then releasing back up. So start with me here, right? We're in this kind of tabletop position, if you will, with a little flutter arms. And now one foot is going to gently come down, and then everything comes back up. We're going to bring the hands down with that leg, and then everything comes back up. Once again, emphasis on low back pressure through here. Hands come down, foot comes down, everything lifts together. How much you push your low back down is how much you are getting out of your motion. Let's go final one more. All right, next up from here is our dead bug. So hands over shoulders, and we're gonna maintain the tabletop position with our legs here. Make sure I have a little room to reach overhead. Opposite hand and foot are gonna reach up and away from the body. And then we're gonna smoothly pull in, and when I'm back here, I'm crunching my body together, right? So I'm really squeezing my abs here at this final point. Opposite hand and foot extend away from the body. Okay, now as I come back in, crunch everything back in together. We're gonna inhale and reach. We're gonna exhale and crunch. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Keeping it slow, keeping it smooth. We're gonna do last two. Nice inhale, big extension. Crunch it back in. Final one. All right, turning to your side, facing me. A movement we've practiced oftentimes, primarily with dumbbells. Today we are a dumbbell-free workout. And because our emphasis is more on mobility than strength today, we're still gonna practice the movement. We're gonna have your hand close to the front of your chest down below, and my elbow down below is pushing into the floor. Hand up above is reaching straight above my shoulder, and you'll notice both my feet up and off the floor. As a more manageable option, you could keep your heels to the floor as we turn. So I'm gonna rotate my body, trying to switch my arms along the way, and get into that other elbow pressing to the floor. Now rotate it back. Really, really slow, right? We can slow this down. We're forcing the body to really control the balance necessary. Roll it over. Nice reach, nice extension. Roll it again. Okay, mindful of your neck now. Let's not get too tight into the neck. Let's do what we can to keep more of the tension in the center body. I'm gonna do this one more time. One roll to each side, smooth and controlled. One roll coming back. Awesome. Go ahead and gently lower yourself down to the floor. We're gonna hit repeat on this stuff. Once again, tiny opportunity, sip of water. And then we're gonna move into our movement side to side with knees, hip presses, and overarm reaches. So let's get to a comfortable spot, maybe somewhere where your knees can have somewhere soft to press into with our motion. We've got our feet real wide. We're gonna drop our knees to one side. We'll do that once or twice on each just to kind of get the recognition of the movement in. You'll notice I'm gonna kind of turn my hips, upper body, head, everything together. All right, and now from here, let's expand into the hip press and the overhead reach. We're gonna inhale, reach. Exhale, bring it down. Rotate it over smoothly. Use those core muscles. Inhale, reach. Exhale, down. Controlling right here. Ooh, hands come up. You can make it a little extra challenging. Okay, once again, core muscles, hip muscles doing the turn-in for us. And now pressing, reaching. Roll it over. Nice reach, nice extension. Breathe in. Exhale down. We got one more, last one here. All right, very good. Second movement, we're on our back. We're gonna do that low back press. And then we're gonna maintain a single leg dropping at a time. Now with this, let's start tabletop position here, right? So toes are flexed, knees are up above my hips. If my legs come down a little bit, this is more challenging for my low back to balance, so you can practice where you want to be. For me, it has my knees right about here. Now my arms are up, okay? I'm gonna lower one foot and bring my arms a little bit down just before they tap the mat, and now I'm gonna lift everything back up, hands in that leg. Everything gently down, one leg stays, lift back up. Low back pressure, we're trying to maintain low back to the floor as best we can. So find a nice in, nice exhale. Think about your lat muscles in the back coming down with those arms. Last two. One. Now bring the arms up just a little higher. Feet, knees are staying in that same location. Let's find nice extension away from the body. And as we exhale, find that crunch together. Inhale, reach, extend. Exhale, crunch. Perfect. Continue to breathe in and reach away from the body. Exhale and pull the abs in, the hands in, and the knees in. Everything coming together at the top. We got last two. Very good, last one. All right, final movement. Turn towards your side here, face me. Let's go ahead and get into that top arm lift. Both feet up, and then bottom elbow in touch with the floor. From here, smooth rotation over. Bringing it back smoothly. Let's find some breath in. Some nice breath out. And go 2 more on each side. And our final one, each side. All right, safely come on down. Quick spot of water. We're gonna be going into a little bit of a sequence yoga-esque that's gonna have some child's pose as a part of it as well. So this will be the last bit of the workout today. We're gonna call it a part of the stretching as well. So bring yourself, if you're not already there, into that state of mind where we're gonna spend a little longer. We're gonna hold some stretches. We're gonna really allow the body to open towards the end of what we're doing here. So what I'd like to do first is start us into a downward dog position. With our downward dog position, we want our hands to be up in front of the corner of the mat. And then I'm gonna shift backwards and I'm gonna press my chest towards my heels, right? So this is kind of a big thing. I don't want you here. I wanna see if we can get your chest to push through those shoulders, which should hopefully straighten that back a little extra. And we're gonna start by just cycling the knees a little bit, having some slow inhales, some long exhales, and hopefully having some good stretches through those calves. Okay, now from here, we're gonna drop to the knees, all right? And we're gonna get into our child's pose. We're gonna sit back, we're gonna reach our fingertips out wide. And as I do this, I've got my forehead resting on the mat. I'm gonna breathe in, and as I breathe out, I'm gonna push my right armpit into the mat, and I'm gonna turn a little to the left side. Now I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna push my left armpit into the mat. I'm gonna open a little bit to the right side, a little twist to the right. Do that again, press your right armpit in, little turn to the left, and then rotate opposite way. All right, and from here, slowly lift yourself up. We're gonna come tall. We're gonna have our praying hands in front, so we're on our knees, and we're gonna sequence a little bit of a sun salutation in and out of this child's pose from here with those armpit presses, a little rotation. So let's work through it. We're gonna go for 5 long sets here. We're gonna have our hands here. I'm gonna have you reach up and overhead, eyes up. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down in front of you, sit your hips back, and reach your hands forward, child's pose. Okay, so big reaching out, big stretching of the palms. Now I'm gonna push my right armpit into the floor, turn to the left, and switch. Left armpit into the floor, turn to the right. Do it again. Right side down, turn to the left. Left side down, turn to the right. Come on up, nice and tall. Slowly, nice, with those hands together in front. Breathe in, reach up. As we exhale, hands come in front. We sit back, hips to heels, and we reach the hands out. Pressing the chest to the floor and rotating side to side. About a 2 to 3 second hold on each armpit press down. All right, we've done 4 total. We come back up. Slowly, now straightening that spine, hands together. Inhale, bring it up, eyes up. Exhale, fold the hands in front, sit the hips back, and reach out with those arms. Forehead to floor, armpit down, turn to the opposite side. Reverse. Again, one more time on each. And then coming back up nice and tall. This is our final one. We create that nice reach, eyes up, chin up. Now exhale, hands in front, sit back, reach out. 4 turns at the bottom here. All right, now from here, I want you to shift yourself back into that downward dog. So let's see if we can bring ourselves up. You might have to reposition the feet a little bit. Mine went slightly wider. I also walked my hands a little bit closer towards my feet, and now I've created that press with my chest going through the shoulders towards the feet. Okay, so I'm feeling a little shoulder retraction behind me, and I am most definitely feeling a calf and hamstring stretch in the back of those legs. I'm gonna bend one knee and then switch it over. We call this cycling the knees here. All right, let's find some nice inhale, nice exhale. Go one more on each side, cycling through those knees. And then gently drop the knees to the floor. Everybody, you are done. I hope that we kept that at a mellow enough point so that nobody's lungs are hurting them through there. I'm really hoping that things get cleared up quickly out there. So thank you for joining me. Get yourself some water, take care of yourselves, enjoy a beautiful weekend ahead, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next week.